Hello and warm good evening to all of you. Yes, it's a weekend and I hope you all are enjoying your days, obviously maintaining safety and with this COVID situation. But welcome once again. I'm Prarthana and I welcome you all to Let's Talk Sports. Well, today we will be discussing a lot about a different sport which is actually making waves overseas, and we have a very interesting person to talk about this. Somebody who has a mission for this particular sports, which is volleyball. And today in this live session, I will try to uh, learn a lot about volleyball and obviously the mission of this particular gentleman. He's none other than Abhijit Bhattacharya. We all know him. He's an Ahomia from Tejpur. He's employed with ONGC now. He's settled in Delhi, and he has a mission. He will be speaking to me about this particular mission. And okay, let me try to connect with him. So let me check if he's available at the moment, and I will try to connect with him. So by the time, if you want to know anything about this particular sports, you can type in your questions and let me know. I will be asking Abhijit all the questions, all that you need to know about his mission. And it's really interesting to see a lot of people showering and showing so much of love and a lot of good response, a very positive response to my live session, which is called Let's Talk Sports. And I would like to thank you all a lot at this moment. And let's get started, and let me send a request to Mr. Bhattacharya if he's available at the moment. No, as of now, I don't think so he's available at the moment. Let me just wait for another some moments. Well, I did the live sessions on sports nutrition and obviously on sports science, and it was really nice talking to a lot of experts in this particular field. I learned a lot from Gumpe Rime, and he's pointed out some very important point when it comes to football in Northeast in particular. Since I'm from the Northeast, my observations or my questions have will always be based in the Northeast, and what needs to be done and stuff like that. And Durva Vahia was there talking about sports science, and then there was Richa Verma talking about sports nutrition, and then Monalisa Bora Mehta was my guest last time, and it was really interesting to see a stalwart, Monalisa Bora Mehta being one of the jury member of the National Sports Award Committee, and it was a great opportunity, and it was a great moment for all of us when Lavlina Borgohain won the Arjuna Award, and it was a great moment for us, a great pride for us. She being the third women athlete from Assam to win this. Let me again send a request to Abhijit. An invitation has been sent. By the time I could see Navajit Malakar waving at me. Hi Navajit, how are you doing? And I could also see Partho Pegu. Hi Partho, how are you doing? Deepu Borwa, hi Mridu Borguhai, you all are watching, and I really thank you all for showing so much of love and support to Let's Talk Sports. When it comes to sports, I always find, and I listeners talk or listen about sports unless and until it's cricket. So it's really interesting to see so many people, joining me in this live session. So I've already added Abhijit Bhattacharya, waiting for him. I've added Vijit Bhattacharya, and I hope in moments from now he will be joining me in this live on Let's Talk Sports. Adding again. Well, it's technology, and at times technology really fails. So we have to understand that we are totally dependent on technology now with the virtual award ceremony taking place in India and different parts of the country after the COVID-19 pandemic. Once again. Sobita Chaudhary says, nice, thank you. It is always encouraging for a sports journalist like me, especially a female sports journalist like me, being appreciated on this digital platform. Thank you so much. Hi, good evening. Finally, we are connected.
Hi, good evening.
How are you
Finally,
doing?
yeah.
Yes, finally,
I am fine.
finally.
I'm
Yeah.
fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry, like I
you
was
know,
trying to connect it.
no,
Yeah.
it's absolutely fine. No, I was just interacting with my Facebook friends and saying, this is an era, digital era, and thanks to COVID-19, we all are doing digital webinars and, stuff like that. All the national awards, a lot of award last time we saw, it was virtually done. So we are totally dependent on technology, and sometimes it tends to fail. So we have to kind of understand the situation.
Yes, it's very true. But somewhere I find that through this technology, through this COVID lockdown, we have find new avenues to reach out to the people in remotest area. Well, otherwise we may not be like accessible to them. But through
Absolutely,
technology,
yeah.
we can organize
Yeah.
online classes and all those things. So those are good things about this.
Yes. Yeah. So I would like to begin by asking, first of all, welcome to Let's Talk Sports. And how are you dealing with the COVID-19 situation, with the pandemic, with the global lockdown, all sporting activities? Or, well, it has started as of now, but initially it didn't start, and we all were inside our house. We were working from home. How did you cope with it?
Yeah, the very starting, like when the lockdown started, I felt that this is going to last for a couple of months now. So we need to find avenues to stay ourselves fit. And most importantly, my concern was connecting with my children in Assam, the interior remote areas where
Yeah.
we were just picking up the Assam Volleyball Mission 100. The mission was picking up. There were coachings going on across the country, across the state,
Right.
and all of a sudden everything came to a halt. So initially I started doing
Hmm.
my own exercises, sending some videos to them, but I somehow found that it was not very successful because just seeing the videos, they may not follow it very meticulously. Then we found that we
Yeah.
should develop some programs so that we regularly interact with them. And I keep on encouraging because they are very young kids. Their mind gets diverted in different direction whenever
Yeah.
there is no practice. Initially, like they will feel
Yeah.
bad when they could not go to ground in the evening, but slowly they will find some other avenues to get their energies maybe utilized in some
Hmm.
other activities.
Yeah.
So we tried all our seniors. Luckily, the volleyball seniors, they were very they came together and tried to connect with them, and we found that the online medium of interacting with them, organizing classes, was most effective. And that's how we started and motivating and encouraging each other. We started organizing some contests on push-ups, from sit-ups, something like that, so that everybody get on in one platform and get involved in this. So
Yes,
lockdown
yes.
was
I
somehow
remember.
yes.
Yes, please continue.
Yes, yes. Like that's what we succeeded in reaching up to the remotest village, thanks to this all this internet. No doubt there were some connectivity issues and all those things,
Yeah,
but it's a new way of learning, new way of sports now.
absolutely, absolutely. I saw you, you were religiously, following a lot of fitness regime, and you were forwarding a lot of videos. So it was really nice to see you being so active throughout this lockdown, which is quite important for all of us, not only for athletes, but for non athletes also. So I was initially, thinking what to, ask you about your mission for volleyball. And then I was going through some of your articles, some of your news articles, and then I saw Mission 100. And if I'm not wrong, three of the villages in Jorhat have already been tied up by you and in the mission to bring in raw talent forefront. Tell us something about Mission 100.
I cannot hear your last sentence, but I could get it that it about our. This is actually there are three tea gardens in Jorhat where like Miss Archana Bhattacharya, she is also a close relative of mine, and she is working with the children of the tea community. And earlier, when we organized a train the master program, one of their representative went to Tejpur and he was trained under an international coach, Mr. Chandra Singh, who came to visit Assam in
Right?
last November. But this was a time when I found that since professional volleyball cannot be done or advanced volleyball cannot be done online. But definitely there is huge scope for doing online volleyball for the basics volleyball. So these were the centers. They were very new. They need to be introduced to this game. So I developed a module where like you can train them without like whatever resources we have in our home. Like even if we don't have a ball, so we can make a ball out of our towel or of a pillow or a cushion, something like that. So that's how we started this initiative, and they were like the center in charge were trained. The center in charge, in fact, they were not volleyball players. So we first trained them with the basic drills of volleyball, and to my surprise, like they adopted the skills so easily, like the it went on in a flow. And slowly now what I found that around 50 children in the last 1.5 years, they are able to do absolute the basic drill of underhand in a perfect positioning and perfect manner. So, and what I found is that
Right.
there are a lot of girls in the T community. They are of good height. They're of good height and they are very well built. If they are trained properly, they can be an asset to the state team in the long run. And I want that by next
Okay.
year, one team, one girls team and one boys team should come up from the T community and represent the district team, and as well as some of them to represent the state team. And I see huge potential in them. So this was one
Hmm.
good news about the lockdown and the online thing.
Hmm.
And
So,
today
why
also
did you
every
think
morning this
about
comes.
Mission 100? Yeah, why did you think about Mission 100? What was the motive behind it? And how did it come to you? How did this particular idea come to you?
Pardana, basically, I was working with the grassroots volleyball for last almost 10 years. Since I retired from active volleyball, we started
Hmm.
this foundation, Rangoni Youth Sports Foundation, to support the rural sportsmen. In and around, it was basically confined to Sunitpur district only, in and around Sunitpur. But
Yeah.
later on, I found that there are pockets, the rural areas, rural villages, where everyone likes to play volleyball, but
Hmm.
they don't have a ball. Somewhere they don't have a net, somewhere they don't have a ball. So that's
Hmm.
when the entire, luckily, the volleyball community, the volleyball family is very closely knit. They're very closely tied up, and they look up to me, and they are united. Like they want to do something for the young children who wants to pursue volleyball in rural areas.
Hmm.
So they don't have a ball, they don't have a net. So
Hmm.
our mission was like I initially the first thing that which came to my mind is let us collect 100 balls so that we can distribute among our children in the rural areas.
Hmm.
So it came with 100 balls basically. So, and when I thought that when I raised this issue with my friends that we need to mobilize some balls, are you ready to help us? So within a month, we were able to collect around 400, 500 balls. That such was the response.
Hmm.
So then more centers come in that we also required balls. So our next mission level raised like, why not adopt 100 villages, or why not start
Hmm.
training new 100 players to this mission? So that's how like 100 balls, 100 players, 100 centers. Now our mission is to make all these 100 centers slowly sustainable, like how they can sustain on their own, doing some livelihood activities and
Hmm.
all those things. That
Hmm.
piloting we will be doing right now. But in the last 1 year, we have adopted around 56 centers where 2,500 children are playing volleyball, out of which around 700 new players have come into volleyball. So that's absolutely a very good sign for us. Now we are concentrating only on the only not only but more on the below 12 age categories children. So this is our next mission, that we will bring around 100 200 young boys boys and girls of below 12 years of age, so that slowly in next 3 years we can give a medal to Assam. That is our
Yeah.
mission.
That's a great mission, and that's a great aim of you. When you say we, who are the other people or who are the other NGOs or any association associated with you?
It's
Who's
a big
supporting you in
volleyball
this
family.
mission?
It's a big
Yeah.
volleyball family. Luckily, our volleyball family is very united. They're together, and everyone wants that the game, which was very popular in our 50s, 60s in our rural areas, that
Right,
popularity should
right.
return back. Like now, in
Hmm.
between, we have seen like the slightly there was popularity was going away in other sports, like and due
Yeah.
to like all
Hmm.
those online games and all those things. So we want to revive
Hmm.
this, and this is a very close knit family kind of thing. We have senior players who are much senior to us, who has retired. They have come together. There are coaches who are senior coaches. There are senior players and senior officials, and beyond that, there are many who are volleyball lovers. Basically, they wherever there is a volleyball game or tournament, they go and see these matches. So this entire volleyball lovers community have come together. So that's collectively we say that we are this family.
Right. So for any mission in sports, money is a big factor. Like you said, you first of all you were looking for 100 balls, but you got 400 to 500, and your team, your ex players, your coaches, the players or current players, they all are very united, and they want to see volleyball to a different height as of now. But finance or money plays a big role in promoting sports because you need to have money. So are you in touch with any state government or any schemes provided by the government? Are you in talks with them?
Uh, Last time, we when we started this mission, and we were already in tie-up with the government for starting centers across the state. So during that time, before the COVID, government was there to support us with starting centers in remote location in every district. So that program is already going
Hmm.
on. It is through the Rangoni Youth Sports Foundation, and we when we started it, we reached to that the 700 800 children were from that basically campaigning. But all this Rangoni and mission are together now. That is one part. And other part is that we have our well wishers who are supporting us. That is one part. But what basically I want is, like, we have started a volunteering scheme. Suppose I am sitting here in Delhi, I may not be able to give time in the ground. So what I do is that
Hmm.
we have devised a mechanism, like, if we are not giving time in on the ground, so let us support financially. So this is a volunteering thing we are starting, where like there are four categories of volunteering. Suppose if you are able to give time in the ground, you are able to coach, you are a former player, so you are in the voluntary category A. So you need not need to spend money,
Hmm.
you need not need to contribute anything. Suppose you are a volleyball lover, you are doing very good professionally, and you
Hmm.
can be our in our board. You support us with 25,000 rupees per year. That is category B
Right.
of volunteering. There is again category C of volunteering, where you can contribute 500 rupees per month. You are unable to give time, but you can contribute money. That is the 500 thing. And there is a category D, who will be basically working, as well as they will also supporting with 100 rupees. So there
Hmm.
are hundreds and hundreds of volleyball lovers. If they contribute 100 rupees, for the first year, we will be able to sustain the volleyball thing, whatever the mission thing, the giving balls and nets and coaching, and that's our calculation. And slowly from this year, we are planning that we will create some model coaching centers in remote areas.
Hmm.
It would be a self-sustainable model, where
Hmm.
suppose if there is a coaching center in interior village, in suppose in a Rangia village,
Hmm.
so they may start a small livelihood initiative, like cultivating mushroom or
Hmm.
bioflocs fish or something of that nature. So it will cost around 50 60,000. So what we will do, the center in charge, he will be spending some at least 20 30% of that amount, and around 50 60% funding we will be doing from the mission side. So
Okay.
once they started earning from that center, from that same thing, they will be contributing for the ball, and as well as the center in charge will be earning some money. And slowly, after month, every month, they will be returning the mission money back to us. The same money we will be utilizing in other centers. So our goal for just we have completed 1 year of our mission. Our goal this year is to start minimum 2 centers, make 2 centers sustainable. So in the next 5 years, our mission is to make 50 centers sustainable. The first year we'll start with only 2. Then we will keep on growing like 20, and funds will definitely pour in. When we do some good work, I'm sure funds will pour in. And to make this center sustainable, so that we need not need to go to someone and ask money.
Yes.
Whenever they give money, we spend there, and this center they earn from their own. They get the coaching in charge, get some money, and in turn he buys ball, net, everything, and that way it will be running.
Right. When you said there will be some model centers, we will choose some model centers which will be then, we are going to extend from that. Have you chosen
Yeah.
some of the areas where you want to set up the model centers for your coaching camps or for your training?
Yes, definitely. There are some centers who are doing exceptionally good, so we won't touch those centers now because they are like well-to-do. There are people who are supporting them, but there
Hmm.
are centers where there is like the income source is almost close to zero kind of thing. They are unable to
Hmm.
mobilize balls, so we will start from there. There is one center in Rangia. Besides, it's been run by one of my friend Jaki Hussain. So
Right.
Jaki is already into goatery and fishery kind of thing. He is supporting his family through that. So we are going to start there with a small, maybe a bioflocks unit. From them, we expect that if he can run that particular center properly, he will be earning around like 5 to 10,000 from next 6 months onwards. So that's
Hmm.
how we are going to start. And other center would be somewhere near Tejpur. There is one center. So these are the two
Hmm.
centers we are thinking.
And where do you think, or where have you spotted some extremely talented people, young boys and girls?
Yeah, it
Because
is.
I'm sure you have done a lot of research for this.
Yes. Now, Prathana, what we is doing that since we are only looking at the height of the player, since volleyball is one game which like plays a predominant role. So what we are
Hmm.
doing, I will tell you how we are going to spot this talent. We are coming up with a very unique initiative now. We are developing an app. Okay, this app
Okay.
will in this app there will be like every center's detail will come in this app. Suppose there is a Pub Nolbari
Hmm.
center, there is a Hajarikapura center, there is a Rangoni center, there is a Borpeta center, there is a Hatinga center. So in that
Hmm.
particular app, the center in charge profile will come. Along with that, all the children profile will come. Their date of birth, when this particular child has started playing, what is his height, what is his
Okay.
weight, what is his
Hmm.
standing broad jump, how much vertical jump he can do. This there will be test conducted, and this test will
Hmm.
be conducted by outside experts, not outside experts. In suppose if my center is in Tejpur, so
Huh.
some physical education teacher or NIS coach from Nolbari will go there and measure their thing, and this
Okay.
test will be done every 3 months, and it will be
Hmm.
uploaded in that app. So once it is
Hmm.
uploaded, children and their statistics will be coming. It will be highlighted in the front page of the app. Suppose
Hmm.
a child sitting at Borpeta, he will be able to see that 10 years old child across Assam, highest jump
Hmm.
is like 60 centimeter, and I am
Hmm.
in 50, so I need to improve. So average is like सबसे कम the lowest one is suppose 30 centimeter jump and highest one is 60
Hmm.
centimeter jump. Suppose I am in 50, so I'm in the average somewhere. So every time they will be able to see what exactly the figure is across Assam. This way we
Hmm.
will be able to identify, oh, this particular player has height, is so much of jump. We can pick him up and put in for advanced training in our Rangoni Academy. So
Hmm.
this is basically the plan to how to identify the players, and we can identify the speed. Even other games can be benefited. Suppose if the player is playing volleyball, he may not be of so height,
Hmm.
but he has an extremely good speed. So we can push him
Right.
towards athletics or other events, something like that. So
Okay.
this app we have made the framework, and we have already given it. Work is already going on. Hopefully we will be able to launch this by November on.
That's great. That's a great news. That's going to be really helpful, I guess, because we all are digitalized now, so we all are dependent on different apps. So this kind of apps will definitely help all of them. My
Even the
another
attendance, how many
concern,
players are practicing? Yeah, how many
yeah,
players are
please carry on.
practicing every day?
Hmm.
Every day, the center in charge will log into the app. He will take a
Hmm.
picture of the lineup so that
Hmm.
attendance is marked through the only one video, photo shot. Like through artificial intelligence, will mark how many students are there. So it will be
Hmm.
registered automatically. So we'll get to know how many centers are practicing regularly, what is the attendance through
Hmm.
long and late. We will be able to identify that this is the perfect picture, not an old picture put into this. Because app will be as such that online they have to go, they have to click, and they have to save it. So suppose Pub Nolvari Center, there are 20 players practicing today evening. We'll get to know by evening.
Okay, how many attendants and how's the
Yes,
activities going
yes,
on
that's
in
it.
every center?
Yeah,
Okay.
inbuilt in the app. Yes.
Okay. In between, before asking you some questions, Happy Teachers Day, sir. Sanjeev Sharma has wished you. And Sabita Chaudhary, she has said, Abhijit, doing some great job. And Judmoni Deori Setia says, nice. Super nice, bro. Nice work, Dipankar Nath says. So I would really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for sending in those feedbacks. This is really important for a person like Abhijit who is doing some commendable job uh, without even gaining a lot of media attention. You know, he's someone who is doing so much in the rural level, in the grassroots level. Like I always say, you know, it's very important to work in the grassroots level. There's so much of talent. There's no dearth of talent. You go to every nook and corner of Assam, you'll find so many talented young boys and girls. But my only area of concern is how do you convince parents? Because we all know sports is these kind of sports are played by people who are economically quite, you know, backward. Like you mentioned, tea garden boys and girls, they have good height, and you've already roped in 3 of the tea gardens in Jorhat. So how do you convince people? How do you convince the parents? Because it is very important for parents to understand the importance of sports.
Now I believe yeah, that is very true. That is the most toughest part basically. When because if someone is very good at academics, my all and he have equal potential in sports, the chances are only 5% that he will pursue sports. So if it is
Yes.
good in academics, then it's gone. Like so, it's very difficult. In fact, it's one of the toughest things to continue to make them play the game they love most after class 9. Our the very common phenomenon, very common belief in
Absolutely.
our
Yeah.
state is
Yeah.
that 10th,
Yeah.
he's once in his class 10 board exam is there, so sacrifice everything. So sports is one thing which you need continuous preparation. So 1 year
Hmm.
for 6 months or 3 months, if you stop, then it's all your efforts goes into win. So
Not even
there
one
is one.
year. From class 9, they are asked to leave. You know, now you are in class 9, you are in standard 9, you have your board
Yes,
by next year. So, like 2 years is almost gone.
yes, it's very difficult. It is one of the toughest things unless like the professional setup of sports come into place where they know that their kids are doing some sponsors are picking them at the age of 12, 10 that like we
Yes.
are going to promote you something like that. So
Yeah.
unless those kind of thing happen, it's very difficult. So this is how the challenges are, and within this challenge we are working out. There are some parents who understand that yes, it is equally important. Playing for the country, playing for the state
Hmm.
is a pride. Like they went on to become engineers and doctors, and fine, there are hundreds of them. The
Hmm.
one of them representing the state team, winning a medal for the state, is an asset basically, and
Yeah.
they are the state property. They are
Yeah.
pride for the country. So
Hmm.
these things we our parents realize very late when they become engineers, when they become doctors or any other good professional thing. And then everyone back of the mind, they feel somehow that we should have played, we should have continued playing
Yeah.
somewhere, we should have done something like that because they don't understand this importance and the pride and all those things involved.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
yes, it is very challenging. I don't know how we'll able to overcome this. Hopefully, something will come up later on.
Yeah, because it happened to me also. You know, when I go out for sports reporting, when I initially used to go, it's been like a 19-year-old journey for me as a sports journalist. But initially, when I used to, "Tumi ki kora? What do you do?" I said, "I'm a journalist. I work for blah 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 channel." No, what else do you do? I mean, You are a sports journalist, it doesn't matter to anybody. If you're a sports person, it doesn't matter to what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? Why are you not, taking up some other teacher's job or a banker's job? Or why are you not studying? I mean, what's the point of being a sports person, or what's the point of being a sports journalist? It's the same, two sides of the coin. So it is so
That too in
difficult
a
because,
place like Assam, and in when you started
yeah,
in early, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, 2001. So
True.
it was really
Yeah.
difficult. It's really difficult. Even still now, some of my relatives, still keeps on saying, so and so, our relative's daughter, she's a good banker, she's an MBA, working for blah, blah, blah. So I say, see, these things really doesn't matter. You will not understand the sweetness of sports, the pride of sports. It's always a great moment for us as a journalist when you see your own state boy or girl or an Indian athlete doing well in international platform. That brings so much
Yes.
of pride. So
Yes.
that's the
Very
reason
true.
I asked you. That's the reason I asked you. How do you convince parents? Because it is very important. Like in sports, because see, apart from cricket, when you play for cricket, when you play cricket, state cricket, if
Mm.
you play like for junior level also, you get good, cash incentives. You get good money, match money.
Yes.
But interestingly, for a lot of Olympic sports, we do not have such schemes. So that also
Yes.
becomes a headache for a lot of people, for a lot of guardians. How are they going to sustain? So it's better to shift from sports to, academics.
That is true, Parthana. But fortunately, since I am in the volleyball, the children are from remote areas and all those things. So what I believe is that a lot of them, by playing volleyball, they are able to settle their life. Like they are getting
Hmm.
jobs. There are numerous
Hmm.
opportunities now. They are into physical education. They are getting jobs there. They are into playing good for the state teams with that certificate. They are taken in the railways, in the Assam Police, in Assam Rifles, or in Army Department. So there are somebody whose parents are not very financially sound, and I
Yeah.
have seen that that's the satisfaction. Basically, I have seen they are playing very hard, they're practicing very hard, given their life to sports, getting a job, going back and building their own house, giving their parents a car, building a house for their parents. So those are the
Hmm.
satisfactions, and those are the success stories. Looking at them, more players are coming. I won't
Hmm.
say about other sports, but volleyball predominantly played in rural areas and all those
Rural
things. So
areas, yes, yes.
yes, and life is changing for them also. In a village, like in
Hmm.
Tejpur, if you find, there is a small place called Beseria where we have our Rangoni Academy. So
Hmm.
whosoever from this village have played volleyball, they are in some job or doing something or the other in through volleyball. So
Hmm.
there is an atmosphere, there is an this thing in the village, that anybody who plays volleyball, they are going to be settled somewhere. So these are the
Hmm.
success stories which are being told across other places, and more players are being motivated. Slowly, it will take some time. Then it will get. I want that the sustainable model, if we can develop in one, if they're not into
Hmm.
job, then they can start with that livelihood opportunity and all those things, because this is very important. After one point of time, they have to earn money for their family, they have to support their family. So that is very
Yeah.
important. Unless no professional sponsors and all those things come, that will take much time now. We are still in
Hmm.
the very early phase of it,
Very initial stage, yes. Uh,
initial stage.
for me, while talking to a lot of athletes throughout my career, I always feel sports is a way in India. It's a way for a social change, for doing your life better. Like you mentioned, a lot of success stories are there who got job opportunities and who are running their families now very well to do now. They didn't come from good backgrounds. So what is that one social message that you want to send out to everybody through Mission 100, through Rangoni, and the ones who are supporting you in this mission to Mission 100?
Look, Pradhana, it's the foremost thing which we realize in later part of our life is to being a good human being and to be healthy. So sports is one thing which helps you to look every problem in your life in a very positive note. So you don't, whatever the challenge you face, whatever the situation you are put into, you will find, if you are a true sportsman, you will find out some positiveness in it, and you will come up from that situation. So,
Right.
like for me, if you throw me in any situation, uh, I will be able to
Hmm.
I will be able to come up. Like for me, other players are also. So that is one thing. They don't get a certificate for this, but they inculcate it while playing the sport. When you keep on playing, you feel like you are a team member. You become leaders. You, when it's time come, you can lead. You are when it's required, you are become a team member. You develop gratitude. You develop empathy. All these things which are
You
taught
have
in
that
the MBA classes.
fighter. You are
Fighters,
taught to be a
fighters say never
fighter.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, never say
Hmm.
die. So these are the things
Hmm.
you won't get a certificate that you are a fighter number one or something like that, but you
Hmm.
inbuilt inside you in course of time, which you also don't know. Even I don't know that, but that sports has given me, and somewhere I'm living that person. Like I'm living that things every
Hmm.
day in and day out, managing my family, managing my office, managing my neighbors. So I am a sportsman everywhere. So this is one
Right.
thing, and apart from that, the healthy thing. So you become fit,
Right.
you stay healthy, you stay away from other bad habits like drugs or other tobacco,
Yeah.
all those things. So these are the best part, which people realize later on that everybody should be a sportsman. Even in my office, they feel that every department should have a sportsman in their team to light up their tough situation and
Their
everything.
mood. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Definitely. My another question to you is: suppose somebody who's watching this live session, they want their boys and their girls to be, volleyball player. They want uh, them to induct in Mission 100. How do they contact you? How do they get inside this mission?
It's very simple. Like we have centers across the state now, and we have this Facebook group Assam Volleyball Mission 100. So they can
Okay.
directly message us. They can directly put us a message, then we will make them across to the nearest center near their home. And if somebody is
Okay.
interested now, since I am doing online classes, so the basic volleyball I can teach them online in the beginning, and then if
Hmm.
the center is far away, we can connect it any centers. Like
Okay.
in every district, almost every district, we have a center now.
Okay, so I hope all my friends watching this live session, if you have any queries, you can directly ask him, and he's available on Facebook. They also have a page, Assam Volleyball, right?
Assam Volleyball Mission 100. That's a group in Facebook.
Okay, Assam Volleyball Mission 100 is the page in Facebook, so you can contact him and through this particular page. And if you want your boy and your girl to be, a volleyball player, you can have you have any query, you can ask him. So, I was going through some of the articles, and then I saw Amit Gulia's interview. I was reading Amit Gulia's interview, and he wants Indian volleyball to revive now, and he's hoping that it will, show more and more results in the international circuit. What's your take on Amit Gulia's this particular comment when he says he wants to revive this Indian volleyball and bring more medals and laurels to the country?
Yes, Indian volleyball is extremely, we have extremely talented players, and I truly believe that if planned properly, if planned with a strategy, if planned with a mission, we are like Olympic medal prospect. Like I will tell you, in
Okay.
2002, 2003, 2004, when we used to play, our world ranking was
Hmm.
24. Now we have gone
Hmm.
far ahead in 60s, 80s, somewhere there. And Iran, we used to bet Iran. In Dubai, we have bet Iran. In Iran itself, we have bet them. And in other tournaments. So now Iran is in the best 10. And we have
Hmm.
similar conditions, similar food habits, similar like physique than the Iranian players. The only thing that
Hmm.
they have planned for it and they have focus in it. So I will truly believe there is a huge potential, and if there is a talent hunt, if some the platform is given to these players for volleyball, and they can definitely do wonders. They can definitely do wonders.
Yeah. Any fond memories of you being a skipper of the team? Any fond memories that you would like to share with us on this Teachers' Day special evening?
There are a lot there are a lot. In fact,
Hmm.
winning the SAF Games gold medal at Pakistan, in Pakistan with Pakistan, in winning at a thriller 5 set. Same in Nepal. We went to Europe. There we won a silver medal in Romania. Then and there are memories of ours beating Korean team. The Korean was the Asian champion. We bet them in 2003 in Tianjin in China. And in Asian Games in 2002, we narrowly lose to Iran in a five-setter in 13-15
Yeah.
score. Iran went on to win the silver medal. That was one disappointing moment in our career. And we have bet some of the best teams of the world, like Ukraine, like Tunisia. And throughout the journey, there are lots of wonderful experiences.
It goes on and on.
It goes
And
on
any
and on.
regrets? Yeah, and any regrets that you have in your playing career?
Regret is like the losing the match against Iran in the Asian Games in 2002, as well as in China after beating all the top teams. A very a crucial knockout match we lost with Iran. Again, it was like we were leading two sets, then Iran won two sets, and finally we lost in 16-14 for one single point. So those were the regrets we will carry on to our grave also. Even we could have won that medal, we could have been Asian medal, we could have gone to the Olympics during that time. But we missed that. That's just part of the game. It's like always losing and winning are part of the game.
But Indian volleyball really has a great past, winning medals in Asian Games, one silver, two bronze. It has glorious past. So when can we expect a lot of revive in Indian volleyball, and what can we expect in the days to come?
Like they need to have a plan in place. Like what is the target basically? They need to have an aim. Like next Asian Games is our aim, or like the next to next Asian Games, or the Olympics, or the Asian Championship. We need to plan it that way. But somehow we have missed of those opportunities. We haven't planned. We have planned in very short-term goal. There has to be one micro level and one macro level goal, which we need to build in more coaches to involve them from the grassroots level, and there has to be some talent hunt so that players are prepared from like 12 years onwards. So those things are not happening as of now, which was happening when we were in late 90s. Like there was a plan for Volleyball Federation of India Mission 2001. So they started escorting us from 1997 onwards. We were part of that particular scheme. So those things gave result. There was a time when they started identifying only 190 centimeter tall players. So that particular team, which was spotted in 1998-99, they went to win a world silver medal in youth championship in 2003. And the junior team also won the gold medal as well as the youth team. So those were the time where the volleyball was going through a plan. But somehow in the recent past, for the last 6-7 years, we have gone probably slightly off track.
Okay. So coming back to our state team, so we can expect a lot of young boys and girls coming up in the next how many years? Like, so you have planned a lot for these young boys and girls.
Yeah. Now our next plan is like we haven't won a medal. Assam hasn't won a medal in the national championship yet, and now this is our aim to give our state a medal. And we are planning for the mini and the sub junior nationals in the next 4 years time. So right now we are concentrating with the centers will be getting incentive. All our centers will be getting special incentives where there is more number of below 12 age group player and below 10 age group player, so that we can identify them, spot them early, so that they can be trained in a proper manner. Problem is that we cannot bring them to an academy because our parents don't allow them to leave their children when they're 10 years old or 11 years old. But to make a strong team, we have to train them at a centralized location. That is very important. But still then we are developing a curriculum which is common to all, which will be common to all. And in next 4 years, by 2024, in fact, we will try our best that our Assam team wins a medal in the national championship, either in the mini or in the sub junior category.
Tell me something about the girls, since I'm very much promoting women athletes and women's sports. Tell us something. How do you plan? How difficult it is to gel together with the girls? Is it difficult, or is it a very sensitive, because girls are said to be very emotional. So how do you deal with young girls when it comes to coaching them and training them and also convincing their parents?
Yeah, like Partner, to be frank, like I am not much able to concentrate on girls as of yet till now. But what I believe
Hmm.
is that basically it's when we train them in an academy, we need to have a girls coach, we need to have a girls supervisor
Yes.
with them. There are other dynamics which is involved
Yeah.
in training girls team and bringing them
Hmm.
to a locality. It's difficult, but in some centers
Hmm.
we are training them. But I see lot of potential in our girls because Bengal girls team having similar growth, similar diet habits,
Hmm.
similar climatic condition
Hmm.
as ours, they are doing
Hmm.
good in the national arena. Their sub
Okay.
junior, the junior teams are bringing medals or in the best four or best five. And
Yeah.
the volleyball is a team game. You need to find six good girls player, individual players
Hmm.
for making a strong team. But in girls,
Hmm.
the advantage is that if we can produce one or two good girls, train one or two good girls, two
Hmm.
good girls can make all the difference. Like
Okay.
four girls supporting them and two
Hmm.
exceptional girls can win a
Hmm.
medal for us. So I
Okay.
find that now we are going to concentrate, the mission is going to concentrate more on girls. So the center incentives again will depend, like more number of girls coming into that particular center will also get some incentive. And
Okay.
I feel while I was training the tea garden children, I
Hmm.
feel I found a lot of potential in them. So now we are going to get inside the tea gardens and identify a girl player from them.
So it's like Beti Khilao.
Betty Khilao, it should be Betty Khilao. It should be.
No, like you mentioned, more girls in that particular camp and more incentives. That's a very good
Ye-
policy that you have taken.
Yes, yes, that's we are following now.
Yeah, and one point which you rightly mentioned is girls from West Bengal. Like you said, our weather conditions are almost same. Our food habits are same because we are dependent on rice and fish. If they are doing
Yes,
good, girls from this part of the
yes,
region can also do good.
yes, yes. So our
Yeah.
target is our target is I've been talking with all our senior players, senior women
Okay.
players. So now our target is that let us identify at least four girls from across the state of the same
Hmm.
age category. Suppose under
Hmm.
12, under 14, under 16, at least find four girls. So
Hmm.
these four girls, if trained properly, if given the required exposure, they can make all
Hmm.
the difference. And I'm sure they can win a medal. It's easier to get a medal through the girls team for Assam.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Abhijit Bhattacharya, on that very note, thank you so much. You spoke a lot about your mission, not only Mission 100, but your mission. And you have been working day and night with your team. And hats off to your team who have been extremely supportive with whatever you are aiming with your vision, a vision to bring out players from the remotest area, which is difficult, a Herculean task, but not impossible. And since we have talent and with people like you and your team, we can definitely expect a lot of changes in days to come in 2024, you said. So we will be keeping our eyes on your team also. And all the very best to you and your team for working so meticulously and working so hard for in the grassroots level. Thank you once again
Thank
for
you,
joining
thank
me.
you, thank you, Partner. And I would like to thank you and your all the journalists of Assam for covering all those stories at grassroots level. Because believe me, one article, one interview from you journalists, from the sport journalists, can make a all lot of difference. Because during our childhood, if we get a small coverage, also small bite or small thing, also it's a huge motivation for us. We
Yes.
preserve those things in
Okay.
our thing. So, and journalists are the one with whom basically the sportsmen open up much.
Yes.
You must be knowing this. Like they
Yeah.
speak up, that this support is not
Hmm.
coming, or I am facing these difficulties, and you are the
Yes.
basically the mouthpiece. You are the one who can they highlight their struggle, their problems to the other stakeholders, to the government, to the sponsors, or whoever. If and now, fortunately, with all this social media and all those things, you are playing a very important role, highlighting their stories and taking them to the
Hmm.
mainstream, and inspiring the other parents to send their children to sports. And thank
Yes.
you so much on behalf of all of us.
Thank you. As a journalist, I've always tried to, bring out the problems of young people, young athletes, their coaches, their support team, and, are they getting the policies right? Are they getting to know what important government plans and programs have come up? I've always tried to highlight it, and thank you. for once again for joining me in this live session. It was wonderful, and I hope to have you again in this session. On that very note, thank you so much to all my Facebook friends for joining in and giving in your valuable inputs and your feedbacks. I will be back again on Let's Talk Sports. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.